Good morning. Sego in my language. Welcome to everyone. And as a Mohawk in this territory, it is my responsibility to acknowledge the Tsleil-Waututh, Squamish, and Musqueam nations on whose lands we are gathered. I thank them for the privilege of being here in this territory. Congratulations to all of the graduates, and thank you to BCIT for this tremendous honor. It is so energizing to be in a room with so much potential. You can just feel the energy. It resonates, and it's a thrill to be here. I believe we're meeting today at a time of great and unprecedented opportunity for our society. And let me tell you, great change is possible. When I think of what's been accomplished since I sat where you are now, and forgive me if I don't tell you how long ago that was, I'll just pick 3 of the changes. Women now have their rights to a career and to reproductive choice protected by the courts and governments. We have same-sex marriage, and not the least change, Indigenous rights have been recognized in the Constitution, by courts, and by governments, and increasingly by Canadians. This may seem like mere history to you, but they fundamentally changed my life and the lives of all Canadians. They're examples of what Canadians can do, and I hope you understand that they're not just something to be proud of, but they're also a challenge, because frankly, it's your world now. As you start out on your careers, as you start making room for yourself and your aspirations in this world, understand that you are now the decision makers. You are now the change makers. My generation, we've had a good run, and some of us continue to run. And what we have, I hope, provided for you is a better world and a legacy that you will have to build on. No one else can do it for you. And no one else has so much to offer to the future. Have you figured out how to do it? You will. I believe the Creator has given all of you a toolkit to start that job with. You may be great leaders, great team players, singers, writers, fantastic broadcasters. And I can relate to that as the executive producer of a television special. It's quite a changing world. Take stock of what's in your toolkit. Everyone has one. Become aware of it and nurture it and discover what your talents are. I hope that has already happened for many of you during your stay here at BCIT. Its reputation as an incubator of educational success and job placement are a valued currency that you can cash in wherever you go in this world. BCIT is also to be applauded for its commitment to reconciliation. It's real. And I commend BCIT for its Indigenous vision released last month, which is a framework for action, more than words, for action and accountability on reconciliation. I like what it says. Truth is the foundation. Indigenization is the action. Reconciliation is the goal. Well, It's a new word for many people, indigenization. It means a number of things. Hiring sufficient numbers of Indigenous staff so that they can become a critical mass. Recruiting, retaining, and supporting Indigenous students with not just a welcoming atmosphere, but with housing, courses, indigenized courses, and faculty advisors who recognize them for who they are. Hiring Indigenous peoples who are deciding how funding for target research is distributed, who gets research chairs, and how academic success is measured. These may seem like extraordinary measures, and there's a much longer list. But frankly, in Canada, extraordinary measures were taken to exclude First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people from education. For example, not too many years ago, our people were required to sign away our rights to achieve a post-secondary degree. That's our Canada, but it no longer is our Canada. As you sit here this morning, you are a shining example of the fact that education is the key to everyone's future. For Indigenous people, it is the way that we will build the leaders and leadership that our communities need. And as now Senator Murray Sinclair said when he was Chief Commissioner of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, education's what got us into this mess, and it will be education that gets us out. Of course, he was referring to the residential school experience. Well, Inspire, the national charity that I am so proud to be president and CEO of, our task is to make that education accessible for Indigenous people. You've heard we provide bursaries and scholarships. We're supporting teachers in classroom. We're encouraging our young people to stay in school and complete high school. Last year, $14.2 million, almost 5,000 First Nations and Inuit Métis students, and 90% of the students we support graduate. They are engineers, they are doctors, they are teachers, they are nurses. They are in all manner of Canadian society and profession. Well, it's now time to take action, time for Canadians everywhere to show that they're willing to make the structural changes that will eliminate the pernicious effects that colonialism has had on First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people, who continue to be Canada's fastest growing demographic group. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and more recently, the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, shone a necessary light on the devastating problems caused by colonialism. And they are foundations on which we together can build the Canada that we all want to see. Both are wake-up calls, important opportunities for you and I and our country. They're a reminder that issues relating to Indigenous people need to remain top of mind. Leaders need to show their communities that reciprocity is not a zero-sum game. When Indigenous people succeed, it does not come at the expense of everyone else. This is not a limited pie that we're trying to divide. Real success is more like a rising tide that raises all boats. That one person's achievements make my own achievements more possible. And people today want to see real change in real time. And that's the gift that education can provide. But you'll need something else if you're going to succeed. My own traditional teachings talk about the necessity of having a good mind. That means not getting sucked into unhealthy cycles where we criticize things, but we don't offer ideas or solutions. Having a good mind is a dynamic attitude that engages with the present and with the future as it evolves. Having a good mind is going to be a key to all of our futures. So every day, graduates, wherever you meet negativity, when you see things that disturb you, like polarization or racism, you cannot be consumed by that energy. It can be toxic, and you won't be able to bring your constructive self to bear. You won't be able to bring your gifts to bear. This I have learned from personal experience. Keeping a good mind has been an incredible source of energy for me through my whole career. And we need also to support one another and to empower one another if we're going to make Canada a better place. That's where leadership comes in. Above all, we need to walk our talk. You're in a very powerful position, graduates. Right now, as you take the next step on the path of your career journey, you're in such a powerful place to create an inclusive society that builds relationships empowered by mutual respect and keeping a good mind. So, let's join hands together as we look out into the future of transformational change you and I and we are all going to build. I look forward to seeing all of you in the days and years to come as our trails cross in the better world, which you, its architects and builders, will leave to your children. I say a particular Nyawagoa to BCIT and all of you for your very warm welcome and the tremendous honor that you have done today for me. Nyawagoa, congratulations. Thank you for listening to my words.